here. Okay. So let's get on a higher time frame. Clearly I had some drawings out on here. Look at it like this. Okay. Look at that. Beautiful bounce off the bottom of the range and came back up. XRP is showing a ridiculous amount of strength. Okay. That is very encouraging. So let me get this out of here. So what do we have drawn here from last time? Okay. So from last time I had a draw come back down to the bottom of the range, which we did here. Bounced, which we got this bounce right here. And then I drew it to come fill this FVG, which is right here. So we have a fair value gap right here that may come and get filled. And this was our next major demand zone. Okay. So basically what I thought was going to happen was get a bounce from the bottom of the range, except this bounce kind of happened more like this, right? But it came true. So we came down, we tested the bottom of the range, which was right here. Whoops. Right? There it was. You get your bounce back up, and then you're probably going to get this move back down. So what I'm expecting here was to get this FVG filled, which is certainly possible. Well, likely actually. So you fill this FVG from right over here. You bounce back up. Maybe you just reclaim the range, or you do this and you start moving back up higher. But the strength on XRP is incredibly encouraging, which makes sense. Why? Because Trump is going to he's going to push for American-based cryptos. So XRP advantages is it's American-based. So the CEO, the owner of Ripple, is going to go ahead and is a good relationship with Trump. So probably going to pump. SEC case on XRP getting closed. So all the litigation against SEC is going to get dropped. It's American-based crypto. So what are they going to try to do? They're going to try to make it tax-free. So one of the big things that Trump has been talking about is making all American-based cryptocurrency have zero capital gains tax. Gigantic, massive advantage. So now XRP, Solana, Caspa, which a gentleman in the comment section of one of my videos had actually pointed out to me, which was good. I appreciate him doing that. Caspa, American-based, all these assets are going to benefit from zero capital gains tax. Well, inevitably, naturally, that's going to get accounted for in people's investment strategy, where they say, well, maybe Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum outperforms XRP over a 4-year time span. But if I'm paying 30% capital gains, 10% capital gains tax on that move, if I just put that money into XRP, maybe XRP does a little bit less in terms of multiples. But if I'm not paying capital gains tax on XRP, do I still net profit more? And if they do, well, guess what they're going to buy? They're going to buy XRP, which inevitably is going to turn into a cascade event where not only did you invest into it because you believed it would do less multiples but make you more profit, but then as everybody figures that out, then it's just going to end up doing more multiples, right? Because people are just going to buy it. So I'm incredibly bullish on XRP. Now, here's the thing. To me, the way I look at these things is you gotta, to a degree, invest based off of capital. What kind of capital you're able to allocate to these things. So let's hide this real quick. The fuck. So the way you want to look at this is, you have to invest considering the amount of capital you have. Okay. So XRP is such a large asset now. And this is funny because we were inside of the Taylor's code. We're talking in the Discord about a couple of different assets, and Jonathan had brought up, is it possible that XRP goes to $10,000, I believe was the number he gave. And I laughed because you hear those targets and you see those targets on social media, and it's hilarious because those are the people who are just preying on normies, or they themselves have no idea what the fuck is going on. They're just talking about XRP. Oh, it's $2.30 right now. What if it goes to 10,000? Because the way everybody thinks is, well, Bitcoin went from $100 to 100,000, or Bitcoin went from $1,000 to 100,000. So they look at other assets like XRP on a similar unit cost basis, and they think that because XRP is $2.30 right now, it could go to $10,000 if Bitcoin went to 100,000. I understand the logic, but they don't understand how market cap works. Market cap is the dictator of multiples in the unit price. Okay, market cap is unit price multiplied by supply, available supply. FDV is price multiplied by the full actual supply. Okay, so for example, Bitcoin FDV is different than the actual market cap because Bitcoin's not fully diluted yet. There's still coins that have yet to have been mined. Okay, so my point is can XRP go to 10,000? Fuck no, because the market cap is hundreds of billions of dollars. So the point I'm getting to is who's somebody that would want to invest into XRP? In my opinion, you got to have at least 6 figures for it to really make sense for you. Because if you don't have at least 6 figures, you can size into smaller assets and get way more multiples than you would get on XRP. For example, something like Pepe is a great example, where if you have, 50 grand that you're trying to, get a nice return on that. Me personally, I wouldn't put 50 grand into XRP because I could just size 50 grand into Pepe, which is just as safe at this point with how much downside it's experienced and has way more upside potential. And $50,000 you can easily size into Pepe. There's plenty of liquidity. There's hundreds of millions of dollars of liquidity in Pepe. Why would you size in that 50 grand into XRP? XRP might pull a 2 or 3x still, if that. So 2 or 3x on XRP or a 10x on Pepe from here. So that's just the risk to reward I'm looking at. Unless you're sizing in with millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars and you just want to make sure you're in something that's going to preserve that money, then yeah, put it into XRP. If you got $1,000, $2,000, again, in my opinion, it just doesn't make any sense at all. Because what are you going to turn $2,000 into $4,000? It's like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? You might as well turn $2,000 into $20,000 with Pepe. So that's just the way you got to look at these things is market cap. What's the market cap? How many multiples can you see off of this from here? Okay, does it make sense for me to size in with this level of capital? Okay, you got $100,000? Okay, now you can start to look at XRP and say, that makes sense. Less than that, I just don't see, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you size in 50 G's into an asset that does 2 or 3x when you could size in 50 G's into a Pepe that'll do a 10x from here? Okay, so that's the way I'm looking at it. But the strength on XRP is beautiful. So you guys see I have this range drawn out, this fib range. Locally. So I drew it locally. So from this top to this bottom, right? Which makes sense. Why does that make sense? Well, look at this. We tagged it here and rejected. And we broke through here, came up to range high, broke back down out of the range, and look what we did. We nuked. So this is a very valid range right here. Okay. So if we look at this range on XRP, it's stayed inside this range. If you get to stay inside of this range before this next move up higher, XRP is going to fucking cook. It'll cook. Now, again, like I said, 2, 3x on an asset this large is a fucking fire cook. But you get up to 1.65, you're at $4.7. So $4.70. Let's see what the size of that move is from here. So 2x, there you go. That's what I was saying. 2x, 3x is basically what you could see on XRP. And then if you go up to the 2.618, 3.5x. So, I mean, that's literally what I just said. For me, that's best case scenario on XRP is you're getting this. That's your all-time high cycle top would be this 2.618. So $8.30. If you get XRP up to $8.30, probably should start to exit your positions. Probably should start to get out of the market. Probably the top. Okay. I would definitely be taking if you're sized into XRP here, and you get this 2x up to 470. I'm taking like 50% off the table there. Taking profits. Okay. Because that would be a nice move. Okay, so that's XRP. XRP looks wonderful. It does. It's very strong. Okay, I'll give XRP that.